Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happier Life Podcast. I'm your host, Claire Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Hello and welcome back to the Happier Life Podcast. I'm Claire Deacon, your guide on this journey from surviving to thriving. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you've found your way here. And if you've been listening for a while, you already know that this space is about finding the balance between self-compassion and growth, going beyond that survival. You're exactly where you need to be. And actually, I'm going to start today by a small confession. Now, some of you will know this episode has come out late. That's because I've been busy with some exciting plans which are coming to you next week. And running late, I go to upload the episode that I had prepared for you, only to discover there is no audio. So rather than you listening to the sounds of silence, I am back here recording this episode again. So please bear with me. Okay, so in today's episode, I want to start with a question. And that's really about, have you ever set yourself a goal? Something exciting, something important. But after a while, it felt like you were carrying a weight too heavy to bear. Maybe you started strong, full of motivation and enthusiasm, then life happened. You got tired, you got overwhelmed, you got stuck. And suddenly, that goal you were so passionate about felt impossible. It's a story I hear all the time, and the truth is, it's a story I've lived myself. The pressure to change everything overnight is real. The temptation to dive headfirst and hope for the best is strong. But today, I want to invite you into a different conversation, one about gentle progress, the kind that feels achievable, kind, and most importantly, sustainable. Because here's what I've learned. Hope comes from what's achievable, not aspirational. It's in the small, meaningful steps we take every day that big shifts happen. And that's exactly what we're going to be exploring today. Now, before we dive in, I have some exciting news. Next week marks the anniversary of my book, which was published, Blooming Happya. And in order to mark this occasion, I have decided that I will be coming to you with the Blooming Happya Anniversary Special podcast. So it will be released next week, and then there will be a daily episode to celebrate, to go through each of the happier principles. It's going to be an opportunity really to take small, intentional steps together, and I can't wait to share it with you. But before we get there, let's lay the groundwork, because gentle progress isn't just about doing things differently, it's about seeing yourself differently. Let's start by letting go of the idea that change needs to be big to count. This is something I've struggled with for years. I used to believe that if I couldn't do something perfectly, if I couldn't go all in, then it wasn't worth doing at all. And I see this so often with the individuals I work with. There's this deep fear of doing things wrong or of not doing enough, that it traps you in not getting started. But what if we could let go of that pressure? What if we could approach change with curiosity instead of judgment? Imagine walking up a mountain. If you tried to take one giant leap to the top, you'd fall. But if you take one small step at a time, pausing when you need to, catching your breath when you need to, and enjoying the view, you're far more likely to make it to the summit. And here's the thing, the journey isn't just about reaching the top, it's about how you get there. So today, I want to explore how you can start taking those small, gentle steps in a way that feels safe, achievable, and aligned with your life. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with change is because they try to force themselves into it without really addressing what's happening internally. The nervous system plays a huge role in this. When you've been living in survival mode, constantly feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained, your brain is wired to protect you, not to push you forward. This is why drastic changes often feel so impossible. Your body simply tries to keep you safe. So before we talk about doing, let's talk about being. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to what your body needed? Not what the to-do lists demanded, not what other people expected of you, but what you actually needed in that moment. This is where gentle progress begins. It starts with awareness. It starts with slowing down enough to notice where you are without rushing to where you think you should be. Maybe today progress looks like taking a deep breath before diving into your emails. Maybe it looks like drinking a glass of water instead of reaching for a coffee. Or maybe it looks like simply acknowledging that you're tired and it's time to rest. That's okay. I know these things might sound small, but small steps create a sense of safety. They create consistency. They build trust with yourself in a way that no grand resolution ever could. And when you're able to show up in these small, sustainable ways, that's when big shifts start to happen. I remember working with a client, let's call her Jane. Jane came to me feeling completely overwhelmed by her life. She wanted to make some big changes, to eat healthier, to set better boundaries, and to find more balance in her career. But every time she tried, she'd burn out within weeks and feel like it was taking her back to square one. Together, we worked out some small changes that she could make. So instead of trying to change everything at once, instead of having such a harsh routine to change into, we focused on just making tiny shifts. And for her, it was around the time. So it was about taking just 5 minutes each day for herself. And over time, we moved that 5 minutes into 10 and then 20. And then it went to an hour. And slowly but surely, she started to feel more in control of her life, not because she overhauled everything at once, but because she built trust with herself. It felt okay to do the 5 minutes. It then felt okay to do the 10, but jumping in straight away would have triggered her nervous system, and that would have meant she would sabotage her progress and get in her own way. So that's what I want for you. So, how can you start? One of my favorite questions to ask myself is, what's the next kindest thing I can do for myself right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. It could be anything really that's for you. It could be taking a break, walking away from your desk, stretching your legs. Maybe it's taking a moment to breathe deeply. Maybe it's giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. Maybe it's going and hiding under the duvet. Whatever it is, start there. And as we head into next week's Blooming Happier Anniversary Special, I want to invite you to embrace this theme of gentle progress. Each day next week, we're going to be exploring different areas of well-being and of finding your happier life around self-care, boundaries, emotional resilience, visioning, all of the good stuff of processing, releasing what's not serving you, and finding your own contentment and fulfillment. It's going to be actionable steps that you can take in your own time, in your own way. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to show up one small step at a time. So, as we wrap up today, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself that gentle progress is still progress. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are doing the best you can with what you have. And that is enough. Thank you for being here with me today. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on Instagram at Happier Coach and let me know what small step you're taking today. And if you think someone in your life could benefit from hearing this message, please share it with them. And remember, next week's Blooming Happier Anniversary Special is going to be full of practical, meaningful tools to support you on this journey. So be sure to tune in every day. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're doing so much better than you think. And remember, small steps, big shifts. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Claire Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.